Reasonable. Just wanted to test to see if the YouTube chat even worked because I had to reset that up, but it seems to be fine. At least I think so. Alright, yes, we are working. Hello, Veek. I have push to talk on, so I may miss some shit. I may forget to push it. It's my scroll key, as you can see, which is why we're spinning around the fucking map. I guess I could make it something else, but the bottom line is there's a lot of noise outside right now. I didn't want to subject you guys to that, so here we are. Spinning forever. I guess I can't really fix that. Anyway, how's everybody doing? So today our to-do list is on the bottom left. I did manage to get that situated. We are a little behind projections. Yesterday I went out, after the Mapperino stuff, I went out to hang out with my family, so I didn't really have too much time to work on Scarlet. So we're going to finish Scarlet, then we're going to do Sienna, and then hopefully we'll have time to at least start Ultramarine and get them situated. So that's my plan for today. After I do some yard work in the afternoon, I'm going to be back for Black Mesa, and then after that, I hope that I'll be able to get some more work done on Ultramarine. But if not tomorrow morning, we should be good to do another stream as usual. So one of the things that I wanted to do was this staging area over here. I need to make sure that those bunkers go down, so I need to audit those priorities, which is what that audit node is. How the fuck did I get all the way over there? Oh, interesting. If you hold down the scroll key and you alt tab, it keeps going. Hilarious. There is some serious background noise, guys, just so you know. What's up, Connor? I'm on push to talk. That's why I'm that's why I'm a little quieter than normal today. There's lawn mowing and traffic and probably some car crashes or something. That's it. So, just censoring that for you guys till the noise subsides a little bit. But how are you? Yeah, well, you can't hear it because I'm on push to talk, so I have to push this scroll button and spin the map every time I want to actually say something. But yeah, I've been good. I spent some time working with, or spending time with family after I played the Mapperino submissions, and after that I came home and I did get a little bit of work done on this, but actually it was mostly implementing DF's new Academy animation. So some of you may or may not be aware, I think the Academy is dumb. So I had DF look into making a new one, and in 10 minutes he did this. Which looks much more reasonable to me, though the graphic itself is still dumb. He also cleaned up some of the shadow, which apparently had holes in it and stuff. But better than the default where it's just one fucking thing. This is actually only 2 different frames, but the way that the iScript is written... That's an improvement. That's an improvement. It doesn't look that bad, in my opinion. I probably let go of push to talk at some point, so I probably just got cut off. I really gotta get a better push to talk key or something. Don't worry. Don't worry. Academy is better now. I showed it on stream. You guys can look at that. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to look into an issue that we've been having. What the fuck, man? Here, I want to test my academy changes real quick. Okay, yeah, fixed. Epic! Alright, so it looks like the issue that we're having with the academy or the medbay and the barracks. So basically the medbay is a new add-on, right? The new add-on needs some sort of reference to, like, the way that the editor places them, right? The way that SCM Draft places the add-ons. They basically need some sort of reference to say, this is my parent structure, like the machine shop does that with the factory, but not with the barracks. Because it's a new unit, there's no way to define that in the game files, so their editor most likely has some hard-coded way to set that up. And it's not nowhere is it able to be modified. So that would be something that I would have to ask SI to assist with. So now what we've found is we actually have to make a, like, basically center a location around every barracks on the map that's supposed to be next to a pre-placed medbay. Center a location on it, remove the barracks, and then make the create a new barracks, and then do that like ad infinitum until all of the barracks are accounted for this way. So hopefully there's a better way, because there's obviously a location limit, and that there's obviously potentially there's going to be some issues with that. Like if your starting location is supposed to be in where in view of the barracks that's going to be replaced, it's going to look very weird for the barracks to pop in and out of existence and shit like that. So.
Give crazy.
Anyway, let's get back to working on some AI. What do you guys say? I think I am going to take the push to talk off, though, because most of the noise has subsided. It's still going to be there. You're still going to hear a little bit of it, but it shouldn't be that bad. Especially with the music. It's going to be worse for me. Alright. We're back, boys. So. Alright, so we've got an improved academy, we've got a potential fix for the issues that we were just encountering with... I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh yeah, the medbay. Replace medbay and stuff. So we will fix that, and I need to look into these bunkers. So this is... let's see, Staging Town. Now, what actually calls SC Staging do? Well, that's a bug. Is this called by something else? It's not even... I guess it should be multi-run from the beginning of the thread or something. It was probably something that I multi-ran before. Run it there. That way, if the staging town gets annihilated in the early game, or at any point in the game, the AI will eventually take it, right? So, and then I can have their attack targeting focus on reclaiming that area if it is in fact occupied by hostiles. What's up, Consti? Yeah, apparently Jay Barino really hates sandbags. I never really got that, but that's him. That's all. You know what I am thinking about actually is I think I'm gonna try to make a push to get more people in on Mapcrap, because that for example, I was told that Kaitu Hacks guy made his Cries of the Lost map in 8 hours or something, or he started working 8 hours before the deadline, and his map was the fucking best one I played yesterday. So like, it wasn't great, but Mapcrap is now opening up for map makers to work on their maps across an entire weekend. They get 48 hours instead of only 4 hours. So I'm thinking that might encourage more people to participate. And especially since it's a more lighthearted contest. And it's happening every other week, so if you miss one, you know, there's not that much of an investment. You can just wait until the next 2 weeks. I want to make like a whole video about like a trailer for it. Basically, I'm gonna put together like a couple of recordings of fragments of my stream playing all of the different infamous map crap entries that we've had down the years, showcasing some of the winners and showcasing some of the insanity that we've gone through as a community, and that can be like an epic trailer where I put something together for the overall like advertisement, I guess. I don't know. I'll come together with something. I'll come up with something. But I hope that will be enticing for people. Alright, so let's take a look at this. What we want is to make sure that these bunkers get built. So the first bunker is at 80, right? Second bunker's at 80. I think these 4 bunkers might even benefit by being bumped up to 82, so that they really do get make sure that they get built, right? And let's see what else. Hey, what's up, Ikewear? I will actually be, I was thinking of using place morphs for the Void race in Toddborn, because I'm not really sure how it'll work out, but I have some idea that it might help. Hello, Ichabod, how are you? Yeah, I actually think that most of the stuff you plan to add will be useful in some way. Like, especially that vision check thing, where it doesn't consider a player for attacks until it's scouted out something from it. You know what I mean? Like I would take it a step further than you took it, where I think you said that after it sees one of their units, they start to attack them. I would say, like, the AI would actively scout and see your base, and then it would say, okay, I can attack this base. And then the AI needs to scout out additional bases in order to see them. Or they'll take attack vectors that will pass them through nearby res areas or something like that on the way to the target, and if they get there, we'll see what happens. What the fuck is that? Void race will morph? No. Void race. There's an entire race of Void in Toddborn. It's not going to be this year because I don't have it in me to make an entire new faction again, but you'll see. It's going to be epic, is all I'll say. Fraud. No.
Void.
Yeah, so there's the three races of Toddborn, of the anime versus police thing. Obviously, anime and police are the other two races. So for a while, it's going to be with just those guys. But eventually, we're going to see Void. Yes, that's right. Void will be. Void claim you. Void will be upon you. So, fasten your seatbelts. Where the fuck is mud? I just need some mud, dude. Also, the isometry seems to have fixed itself. Maybe it just needed to be loaded again or something. Because the map dimensions are still 160 by 128. Oh, never mind. It's fucked. It's only fucked around other isometric things, though. I guess. Why isn't it fucked on dirt, though? Dirt is definitely isometric. I guess it's only transitionary tiles or something. That's weird. What do you mean, why? Why do I need an excuse to throw Void at the enemy? At the player? Weed. Weed. Absolutely. Alright, so I think we've buffed up the priorities of that enough. Let's see what next. For Hydra, Ichabod, every single map has at least one AI ally. This one, you have 3 players on the first team, so you got 2 AI allies if you're playing single player. But they can all be commandeered by humans. I don't really... The thing is, like, it makes sense, right, to make it consistent that Zaz is always an AI. But at the same time, I wonder if there's really any justification to... knocking on somebody's door, or whatever the fuck that was, to saying, hey, what I want is, you know, even though you're playing on a team, but you can't play with 3 players, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there could be, I mean, I just don't want it to feel like some maps are 3-player and some maps are 2-player. Like, I don't want to remake the whole thing for 3 players. I'm making it for 2 players. Like, there's some times where it makes more sense to have 2 players. What's up, Alexander? How many Toblerone maps have I completed besides the first one? The second one's almost done, actually. But I'm going to basically take those 2, rework them, tweak their layouts and stuff. And then I've got plans for 3 more, so we're going to have 5. How do I make them adapt to the player's build? Right now, I don't, really. They have their own personalities, the AIs. So Scarlet, in particular, loves to use air units and loves to drop, and they don't really like mech units very much. They prefer bio into air. They get a starport very early on and stuff. Sienna, the brown player, is a mech-focused player that also likes to nuke. Ultramarine Protoss is a player that likes to do heavy mech focus as well, but from a Protoss perspective, so that could mean air, or that could mean Dragoon, Reaver, Hierophant, with a lot of drops. So they have a chance to go to one or the other. But for the most part, they just stick to their own personalities. Like Zaz is an air-focused Zerg. Redwood, the player over here in the left, Redwood likes to spend a lot of time basically spamming out like Hydra Basilisk, and sometimes goes Zergling, a little bit like as an assistance or whatever, as a meat shield, but mostly they prefer ranged. And whereas Cordovan, which is the color over here, likes to spend most of their time with Zergling, Vorvaling, Hydralisk, and Queen in the late game. Really likes to use Queens. So you'll see a nice even spread, basically. What's up, Seabear69? How are you, dude? I'm always winning. Right now I'm making something that I can then win. Asphalt cliffs for tire tiles in desert. Oh, as in, like, instead of dirt, it's bordered on asphalt. So something like the bridges. These submerged into tar. I'm sure I can put something like that together. Whatever I make for your stuff will be useful for Hydra desert maps anyway, so... I'm just helping my future self out, while also helping you out. You know what I mean? It works out, I think. I didn't say I can beat everything. I said I'm always winning. Every day I win. I guess I get progress done on Hydra, and that's a win. That's a W. And his name's George. I actually look forward to throwing Georgia at you guys. Maybe I keep thinking I'm hearing sounds in my background. Maybe it's just the fucking music, though. Honestly, who the fuck knows, man? Oh no, it isn't. Nice to know. Okay, let's hit him with the classic 12 Marine Rush. It does change some map designs as well, I'm pretty sure, and has some tech tree changes. Good luck if you plan on attempting that, though. What's up, Don? I hope things are going okay with you. An excuse to start a new chapter or something. Well, I think I'll work in the kiting and the micro stuff into pretty much like most of the AI will have that aspect. As far as like a player that will use it more, like I definitely think Tassadar is going to really love to, or not Tassadar. Zeratul is going to absolutely adore like throwing Dark Templar at you and focusing down your workers and stuff. Heads up, wrapped up. If you know what I mean. Yeah, Don's already there, man. He's already there. Well, Alexander, the issue with UEDA IP when I played it was it relied on a lot of pre-placed stuff and AIs that they executed the same way most times. Like, it was a very consistent project in that sense. So you could certainly figure out what the AI was doing. But he, being Necron in this case, he focused very heavily on set pieces. He designed his maps to be analyzed like a puzzle and solved as such, so that there's a solution that's the most optimal. There's an array of solutions that are going to get you the W. You've got to execute on them in a timely fashion. I guess it's probably good for like training your micro or timing or economy. Like, you probably can't win most of his maps unless you're decent at RTS games. My problem is that it's always been disinteresting to me because I don't want to defeat an enemy that beat me because of some inalienable advantages, which he uses mostly to probably get around the limitations of writing AI in Remastered, I imagine. But maybe that's just also intrinsic to his design philosophy. But I never really liked the direction that he went with it, so it was never really a project for me. That doesn't mean that nobody else is going to find it exciting or enjoyable, but it does mean that it's slated towards a very particular audience, I think. An audience of people who want the same sort of style of map design that is present in stuff like... what's a good comparison? Just like the traditional campaigns that you see every day. The campaigns with a lot of pre-play stuff and a lot of infinite money. Although I don't know how much money he hands them. I think you can outlast them or whatever, but they probably have a decent starting bank, and they certainly mine a lot of resources. They do take expansions and stuff. The point is the AI does stuff. It's active on the map, but it's working from the same precepts that informed the design decisions of a lot of the other campaigns that we would look at and say, well, this is boring and the AI is not engaging. So in this case, I guess the AI does engage you, but it does so in a very unfair manner. And that's designed. That is by design. He's doing that on purpose. So that was what I always took issue with. Which missions do you mean, Eichwer? I have a whole document on this somewhere. I think I sent it to you at some point, but Rainers or Executors? Multiple Rainers. WTF, 2 Haymans? Eggshell Blue. Why is it Eggshell Blue Phoenix? I think this was supposed to be mint, because Phoenix is there. So whatever. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure who's gonna be there now. Now that we have additional player slots to play around with, I have a feeling I'm going to make the maps bigger in general, and you're gonna see some pretty significant changes in the map designs. Like, people who played the old Zergo 1 are going to have certain expectations, like the AI is going to attack me with this number of units at this time, or Sienna's going to do a tank push on me. Like, before I was writing AIs in a way where they would not really use any of the money that they were getting. The money that they had was like a failsafe in case they got harassed. Instead of them actually using it, they just put it in a bank and floated it. And didn't really use it ever, I don't think. Now I've reduced the amount of bonus resources they get per return. And I'm actually monitoring how much money they're floating at certain points in their build thread and then optimizing based on that, so they build stuff faster, they build stuff, more aggressively, this, that, and the other thing. So what you're going to see is probably a faster tank push from Sienna at a faster time. You're going to see faster wraiths out from Scarlet. You're going to see drops. You're going to see all sorts of crazy shit come to fruition, I think. And I'm excited to throw it out there and get it out there. So look forward to that. One thing I would like, as an sort of response to what Ichabod was saying earlier about timing attacks and whatnot, what I want to be able to do at some point is I want to be able to say, like, take the overall state of the game and update it and make it so that, like, maybe the attack targeting adapts to who is weak at a current given time, and they try to, some AIs will try to go for the kill, and other AIs will try to weaken their teammate or something, because, like, hey, that guy's weak, so his ally's going to hopefully help him. That means we can, like, focus our efforts on the other guy and try to, like, hamstring him while his forces are out of position or something like that. Like, so depending on what the situation is. The other thing that I would really like to have happen is somehow synchronize attacks without relying on, like, quick attack and timers in a certain way or anything like that. Like, the Sienna Terran and the Scarlet Terran, they're both a team, and what they want to do, I can synchronize their defense to some degree. I have help if trouble. I can request guards when they have certain locations already set up, which I'm going to do. I can organize that stuff. But making it so that they attack the same target, or they attack at the same time, the same team at the same time, that's a little bit more difficult and a little bit more prone to breaking as well. So might be something. I'm trying to, like, speak out some of the ideas that I want to explore, and if they're not feasible now, or the way that to do it is inconsistent or really annoying to implement, then that's something that I would like to be able to improve in the future, and that's something that I'll probably add to the wish list eventually. So that's one of the reasons why I'm speaking my brains about all this stuff. I was gonna pull this over here, but I guess it doesn't really make that much sense to do so. Oh, you're talking about the heroes. I misread what you said, Ikor. Yeah, so I think what we're probably going to do is... when one hero gets ordered, the other heroes get locked out for the same team. Well, obviously in Melee, they'll all be 100% unique. But in Hydra's team games... Yeah, I know. That's the thing is, like, I really look forward to people who have no idea what Hydra is. They come in and they think, Zerg is my favorite race. I'll play Zergo 1. I remember when I was told how to build a hatchery. Then they just get their shit pushed in by earlier ass. And, like, they're like, oh shit, I guess I gotta play the game. They restart, they try to push out, there's bunkers everywhere, siege tanks are being coordinated between the mech player and the fucking player that's bunker creeping with bio. So you got bio upgrades and mech upgrades, but they're from two separate players. You gotta fucking figure out how to handle that. You're like, I guess I can't attack the Terrans, I'll try attacking the Protoss. You look down, Zaz is getting his ass fucking handed to him by Ultramarines, Reaver drops, and or Scout Carrier rush. You'll see some shit, man. Anyway, in Hydra's maps for what's it called? For the like the mutation pit or whatever. Like obviously the mutation pit, you can have as many aberrants of whatever kind as you want because they're like strains of Zerg. In the future, obviously there's only two heroes planned for Zerg, and that's Infested Kerrigan and Infested Duran. I'm sure I can find some way to augment that or offset that if I want to, but I do think Aberrants will be the way to go, way forward for most, and then, you know, Kerrigan and Duran will be like either pre-placed in certain maps or, you know, built somewhere else in some other way. Then you'll see for Terran, what you're probably going to see in general is you're going to take Terran and you're going to say, okay, here we go. We've got Raynor and the Magistrate as options. And so I think in the early maps for the campaign, not the first map. Well, maybe it won't matter. I think in general the heroes will actually be restricted to who's ever playing as them. So in the second Terran mission, you have Kerrigan as the red Terrans, the Sons of Korhal, and then you have the Magistrate playing in the as player one in that sense, the defensive player. So that's a map where it's like very clear that one player would have access to the Magistrate, one player would have access to Kerrigan, and so we'll just disable them for different players. As far as the Protoss are concerned, I think in general you'll see the pool of heroes grow as you progress throughout the campaign, and if there's a hero that's shared between them, like, you know, Raynor is not active on the map as an AI, so he's available as a player, you're going to see that the players will have access to select Raynor. But when one of them starts to select them, it gets consumed for all players until, you know, if Raynor's canceled or something, then it'll be changed. So yeah, and then for the AI, I think what I'll probably do is make a couple of like speaking character roles. So there will be like a Confederate hero in Terran 02 that will be leading the charge, and eventually they will deploy him on the battlefield, and he'll have his own hero AI. Like ideally, at that point, that'll be like a unit that they return home after he's attacked or damaged or something, but they'll bring him with attacks and use his abilities and stuff. And I don't know how best to tutorialize the hero's kits. I don't want to add too much overhead to customization. So it'll probably be derivative of the default Goliath. And maybe that can even be something where Kerrigan mentions, I got to get my hands on one of those Goliaths, because it's supposed to be like the hardware of the Goliath is more intrinsic to the Goliath itself as opposed to the character that's leading it. So you'll see stuff like, what was the hero stuff here anyway. The Kerrigan Goliath is has an ability to taunt and allied mechanical units near the victim gain 20% movement speed for 4 seconds. I don't know if that'll work out, but like in theory, like the +1 bonus range for mechanical units, the whatever the passive is and whatever the active is, these abilities will be used by the AI as well. And so like that'll be where you introduce it. That's why it says first appearance TO2. It's not that Kerrigan gets that Goliath in TO2. She's still only a ghost in that map. But you'll see that Goliath being used by the Confederates, and that'll set up how they end up recovering it in the future. That is an excellent question. Don't know how to help you out with that.
The same reaction. So you get a little bit tired of life. So as death comes, you almost say, okay, baby, it's time. It's good. So I know I have very little fear of death. I almost welcome it.
I don't know where this goes. I should probably rewrite this anyway, though. I think this targets Redwood. I think I'll also have the Confederates deliberately target the Chrysalis, like the Chrysalis area or whatever.
Things take on a repeat. Things take on a repeat.
Call it Scarlet Force. So I think that's what it's going to be most likely. Oh, what's up, Wappy Man? Welcome back. How are things? How's Wappy? Did the machine win, or how did it go? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, when I'm doing my AI, I have a similar sort of mindset, I guess, where what I look for is a way to challenge the player to have to play the game of Starcraft and have to be good at it, have to play it well, have to express their skill or lack thereof. And as long as they have to do that, as long as they have to play the game well in order to win, I'm totally okay with them winning. Even though there's a sadistic side of my brain where I think, wouldn't it be great if they just got absolutely annihilated? It's also very satisfying to see a player be pushed to their, maybe not to their limits, in your case with your professional player. Although I guess he did drop a single game, so there is that. But the idea that he actually has to perform, that seems pretty satisfactory to me, because that's what I look for too, is like actually needing to play the game at a high enough level, at your highest level, or somewhere close to that approximation anyway, in order to win. But yeah, good to hear that progress is going well for you. Feel free to post your stream link or whatever in the Newbor section of the Discord server if you're still in there. Might get some more eyes on it. People are, I know iQuare, for example, has a passing interest in Wappy and stuff. So. Right, yeah. How different is the mindset that you go into trying to program a bot that's meant to deal with a human player versus meant to, like, there's a different meta, I assume, for what makes a bot successful at dealing with other bots compared to what makes a bot successful for dealing with humans. Like, obviously the humans will play in a very different way and have better or worse unit control depending on the situation. Wappy, what's up, UED? Are you considered a Wappy man? I didn't think so.
Flesh is a design flaw.
Well, we're gonna be making our own AI system for intended for custom content eventually. So yeah, we're gonna have stuff like hiding micro, reaver micro, stuff like that. It'll be really exciting to see stuff like that in Hydra, I think. For the very first time, Marines will actually move back between attacks and or block a little bit. For the very first time, you'll see an AI do that. For the very first time, they will actually move ranged units between attacks forward so that other ranged units behind them can get in. And they won't just spin. Wow! Anti-spin technology! We have the technology! For the very first time. Right, yeah. The orb walking marine or whatever. The thing is, like, AI can do that pretty much flawlessly besides some edge cases with terrain and stuff. So it certainly makes it a little bit harder to kill the Marines, but because the AI is not a human player, it takes out some of the impressive aspects of what that really looks like, I think. But who knows? I don't know how difficult it is to actually code that, but it's not as impressive for the AI to do it, I guess, because of the fact that they are... It's not like they can ever get tired, right? Yeah. I'm talking about for the AI player in this case. It's not that they didn't have to express some superhuman feat in order to be superhuman, because they're AI. And Flash is a design tool.
Flesh is a design flaw. Flesh is a
Call and
design
response.
flaw.
Call and response.
Flesh is a design flaw.
Thanks for doing it 3 times, UD Commander. That was very nice of you. 3. What did I think I made the picture for that, the adjutant or something. Just grasping at straws. I should have made it Razorback's dumb profile picture on Twitter or something. Yeah, I mean, I trust me, I know just making an AI perform well without Wappy, just doing what I do, it's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily something I would call easy. But it's much easier to say this was very impressively coded than to say that AI pulled off a very impressive maneuver. You know what I mean? Because it's not like they're microing or whatever. At least the way that my brain intercepts it is a little different, I guess. Maybe some other people do behave that way. They do think of it that way. Yes, exactly. Well, not necessarily. You can program decision-making trees and stuff. Even in my neck of the woods, it's possible to do something like that. It's more that I think the biggest issue is when you get to a situation where what you're trying to accomplish is well, it's not really you trying to accomplish anything. So when a player does something where they are like Bisu's godlike marine micro, right? Like that's only impressive because a human being has a limited amount of APM they can possibly achieve, and to hit a certain threshold while still being effective, and using that to turn the tide of a game or an engagement within a game. That is where the drama happens. That is where it's very epic. That's where the actual connotations of it being an impressive play are derived from. And when an AI does it, the AI can't get tired, and the AI doesn't have a built-in limitation. Well, it doesn't have a default limitation, a theoretical limitation of APM beyond computing power. And you can program them to orb block Marines way better than any human player can, including Bisu in his prime. Yet, when you're, it's very obvious when you get into a situation and look at it from that perspective. What I mean, I think, anyway. I hope I explained it well enough. It's not necessarily that there's nothing emergent about it. It's just that it's not impressive when an AI does something that is superhuman, because they are, by definition, not restrained by the same constraints that stop a human from being superhuman on a regular, daily basis. So, there's certainly, like, give and take. There's certainly flaws of an AI that a human doesn't have, and vice versa. It's just like you wouldn't say it's impressive for a player to say, I know the trick to it, adapting to this particular thing that my opponent is doing. I can adapt to this strategy, because that's a default thing that humans can do, just by definition, is we have the ability to adapt to stuff. So that's not as impressive on those grounds. So you wouldn't say that that's like indicative of something that's superhuman or preternatural or something like that. But if you look at how an AI... If an AI was able to accurately adapt to a certain situation, then we would praise that as impressive more than we would praise its execution of a micro-mechanical task. Because that's what AI are really, really good at, is never getting tired and always doing exactly what you programmed them to do on a micro-sense. So, like, when I tell my AI to always cast Psystorms when there's on a target when he's near 3 other targets. So it's a combination of 4 total targets at least, bare minimum. And then when my AI does that perfectly, in a perfect manner, to a T, then I don't say my AI is very impressive, because that's just me using a function, right? And me plugging it in. I don't say that that's an impressive play. I just say that that's precisely what I did. I say, okay, it's working as intended. That's what I would say in those situations. Whereas if I came up with some way to program in some adaptation, and then they were able to do that, that would be more impressive because of the fact that it's an AI, and AIs don't typically have the ability to adapt and don't have the ability to intuit a certain situation. That's where you get into like deep learning and stuff, where you're mirroring general intelligence or getting close to it or emulating it in some way. Whereas that's where it's most useful, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's more like the Marines are behaving as they should if they were actual living creatures, Iquare. But at the same time, it's like, it's better to avoid trying to go down that rabbit hole of full immersion. It's not going to end very well. Well, that's what I was saying, UED. That's like, as a living entity in a real combat environment, you would be backpedaling as you're shooting. Or you would be moving forward and, I guess, crouching or something so that other units could, like other soldiers behind you, could come in and also shoot. So, Iquare was saying it would, if every micro was, if every Marine was microed perfectly, or every Marine was microed, period, it would make the faction seem very focused on micromanagement in that sense. It would make the enemy commander seem very focused in that way. It wouldn't be as... if that was like the baseline, I don't think it would be as useful. And I also don't think it would be as interesting to fight against in general. But maybe... I have to wait and see until I actually see it in front of me before I make the decision to include that globally or to make that a more focused element. I think it would be nice to make it so that Marines at least move forward for other units, other ranged units behind them. Like, what you'll see a lot of the time is that Marines will stand still and shoot and not move at all. I think pulling them back a little bit would be, like, infrequently or whatever, would be fine, to show that they are trying to move around and stuff. And then the AI can also be like, you know, telling them to move forward if there's other ranged units who are trying to acquire a target and are too far away, and then they have to spin around them or whatever. That's obviously inefficient. You lose a lot of their power budget, so I think it makes sense in that context. All right, man. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. Right, I agree with you, UED Commander. I think if you had a commander that was meant to be very, very intelligent and a veteran commander, right? Like, okay, I'll give you the quintessential example. In Terran 01, your ally is George. He's just some guy who's meant to be like a mining colony overseer. And they put him in charge of this place to ensure that the mining... everything was okay with mining. He doesn't have combat experience. He doesn't have military leading experience, but he is the guy in charge of this place. And he's the one who signaled for backup. Raynor shows up to help, and the magistrate as well, of course. And so he's in your debt. He's grateful, blah, blah, blah. But if you keep him alive, he journeys with you throughout the campaign. By the end of the campaign, having him coming into his own as a commander and microing more than before, because at first he's probably not going to at all. You know, he's not going to be particularly competent. He's going to need you to help him. The idea is that he'll become a better player at StarCraft, just like you will, presumably, by the end of the campaign. And that's going to be part of the storytelling and the characterization of his faction is that he gets better at doing that. So, of course, you're going to see some stuff like that. Right, so, like, George, over time, is a good example of this. And then if you contrast George to Duke, or George to even Mengsk, presumably, or anything like that, you'll quickly find that the some of the later examples, the ones that George is being compared to, are going to be significantly more, aggressive, competent, whatever. So, but yeah, I think that we should definitely focus on conceptualizing it as an improvement to the commander, as opposed to an improvement to the individual unit. Like the individual unit getting smarter, because while it does make sense in a visceral way, if we start to worry about what makes sense or what's immersive or what's the proper decision making for a unit in a game, then the whole fucking thing falls apart. If you immediately ever try to like reverse engineer that, if you ever try to recontextualize the overall experience as these units are living entities on a map, and they're in a battlefield trying to survive, and they behave the way that they do, it will fall apart so quickly. And it's not really about that anyways. It's about huge battles where the individual unit is but a tool, a very dispensable tool. And I think that would be a better use of our time anyway. So. To try to make sense of. I want to see if I can make this ramp a little bit better. Because right now it's pretty bad. But I guess I'm kind of stuck with that, huh? I could try to invert the ramp in general. But then I interfere with the asphalt. Good fucking work. I guess I'll leave it as it is. For now. Alright, so what I want to do as well here is, I think it makes sense to remove the map revealers. What is the fog of war like, anyway? Looks like I already took care of that. But not for player 2 for some reason. I wish Fog of War previewed more realistically in the CM draft. Still kind of annoying that it doesn't. Hey, what's up, Connor? Not much. I just tested out some fix for the add-on thing that I was experiencing, and it wrote to SI about it. And other than that, I have just been making small tweaks to the map. I made sure that Fog of War was for all the players, removed some map revealer stuff. Going to reveal the locations. Well, I don't know if it makes sense to reveal the locations for the AI players in this case, for the Terrans, like the SCVs or whatever, like their command centers. One of the things that I was thinking about is when Zaz mentions that he's located Terrans, I might create and remove a map revealer instantaneously and then minimap ping over the command centers. And because map revealers only have like 6 range, you're just going to see like the command center or maybe some buildings that are surrounding it or whatever, and you get the minimap pings to illustrate that what's something that's happened. Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue with the attack waves is that they really should be organized in a different way, and because of the fact that, if you think about it, right? What you probably want is AI that can attack and, like, focus down certain targets. Like, and have a bunch of other, like, subroutines going. For example, the, one of the things that I thought about was, like, Zeratul using Dark Templar and harassing you by dropping you them into your mineral line. Zerg AI using Lurkers or Basilisks on cliffs or Siege Tanks on cliffs for Terran, and, Firebat drops and Wraith, trying to move Wraiths around so that they can negotiate their way into your mineral line and annihilate your workers. Stuff like that, like really targeting your economy. Otherwise, maybe focusing down where they see large swaths of production structures and trying to harass you there. Maybe your supply. Try to harass your supply structures. Find your overlords. Stuff like this. And they should be ignoring attacks from other targets, deliberately focusing your workers. Like, in my opinion, that's what they should be trying to do. Is they should be saying, there's workers here. My AI, like the unit, should be saying, you know, my AI likes to focus down workers. There's workers near me. I'm going to attack them instead of retaliating to somebody that's attacking me. Try to get as many worker kills as I can, because that's what a player would do. So I have a feeling that that could be something that would be useful. You're talking about this one? There's probably a couple of places. What I could do is request guards that die after one resummon or whatever, and replace them on a loop. So most of these are going to be different at some point. Hello, Christopher Storvik. Project Hydra is a remake of the original campaigns designed for up to 2 players to play co-op. Otherwise, AI will replace the vacant player you're playing single player. It's not really a project where it's like it's its own campaign because it's a remake. So. There's a link in the description with a whole host of changes. It's a pretty big document, so I'm making a huge amount of changes with the help of iQuare, who's responsible for most of the plugin stuff, like 99% of it. Whatever wasn't already made by Nave and stuff. He's responsible for most of the actual technical implementation of these ideas. But we've made so many changes to just the global way that stuff works, like resources are regenerating now, and all sorts of other stuff. Tech tree changes, bunch of new units, bunch of new mechanics. Gonna be doing new voice acting for a lot of the heroes and characters. Stuff like that. It's designed to be very, very difficult as well. Very skill testing. Really make you play Starcraft. And play it well in order to win. Even from the very first mission. So that's the sort of elevator pitch, I suppose. Right now I'm setting up coordinates that the AI will take to harass the players' structures. And expansions and whatnot. Yeah. Armageddon Onslaught's pretty tough, but this one doesn't it doesn't have any issues with like limits for the bullets and stuff, so there's at least that. There's no issues with AI behaving poorly in most cases, especially with these smaller scale maps that I've been making. Like this is the first Zerg mission. I'm in an AI view right now, so we're not only seeing the regions, but also all of the structures and the places where the AIs are going to be placing those structures. Right now I only have this stuff set up for one of the two Terran AIs. But I don't know that it'll be harder than Armageddon Onslaught. But if you played well enough to beat Armageddon Onslaught, or you came close a few times, then you should be right at home here. I thought the map burrito submissions for Brood War were pretty terrible. But I only played the ones that were possible to play in 1.16.1. So there's two submissions, one from Necron and one from Zatsupuchi, who those submissions can't be played in 1.16.1. So somebody who actually still has Remastered installed might find some fun playing those. But I have no review for them because I didn't play them. Kaitu Hax's was tolerable, at least. You're just playing Zerg. There was no engagement. The AI was pretty boring, but he made it in 8 hours or something. So what's the... Not much of a shock there. Yeah, the default Starcraft AI, like that was one of those things that like all these submissions just run stuff like Terran campaign difficult or Zerg campaign insane, God forbid. Like so many of the default Blizzard scripts actually break, or like the Terran campaign insane one can crash the game if you disable ghosts. Like crazy stuff like this, and people still use these bad AI scripts in their project. It's nuts. Must have got here. No, that one was terrible. I don't care if they weren't completed, as long as there's a significant amount of them produced. I'll probably move the stuff that's not completed to its own category, because there's a bunch of campaigns that were like half completed or something. But most of the time most of the time I don't find out if they aren't actually completed until way later. But the bottom line is I would still like to post them so that people can peruse them if necessary. I don't know how I'm going to reach Zaz from there. Probably something like over here, maybe. Over there. Well, that's going to be it. Draw them into photon cannon fire. Maybe over here. Like one. But yeah, eventually I'll make an incomplete section on the second page of the listing, and we'll see where we can go from there. We'll call that as natural. Yeah, CC is no stranger to drama, that's for sure. Just about done. Just need 2 more of these, and then we can go back to writing the attacks. Oh wait, I have to do the ones for Ultramarine. That shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, so 5. Where would Zaz go after that? I don't even know if he has another one. I guess he would try to attack here. I wonder if that'll work. Somebody will probably die to that. Somebody somewhere will get fucked by that, I'm sure. Oh, that would be great if you can, if you end up recovering those. Definitely send them my way. A lot of custom campaigns are only on there because like one person had them in an old hard drive or something. So always nice when we can add to the collection, especially if they're really old ones. You port forwarded. Did you do UDP? I went over the steps in the Nemesis Stormborn README, but if you already followed all those, I don't know. Make sure that your ports are actually being forwarded. There's some utility you can get to show that. Try pinging DF about it, or DMing DF about it, Veek. The thing is, like, most of the time, just ask him if you can get, if he has a link to the port analyzer thing that looks for the ports when you have Starcraft open and you're connected to Battle.net. Like, basically, you would connect to iCup and then you'd run this program, and the program would tell you if it works or not, if the ports are open or not. Do we got here? I mean, again, I don't even know if this is really going to be his third, per se. But, is that lock 33? Okay. 31. My mind is creating threes where they simply do not exist. As far as these Stardraft mods, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I usually repack them. I do have an XP emulator, but or a virtual machine, but I haven't been able to get anything mod-wise to run on that. At least none of the more recent stuff would probably work. The Starcraft stuff would probably work fine. I'll look into doing that later on, I guess. You're a mouse. Balefell started in StarCraft 2, worked his way through Warcraft 3 into Brood War now. Though he's not really super active. And... yeah, Windows 10 is a horrible operating system that was unfortunately forced upon most people, myself included. So this was... let's see, of course, that will double as harassing the Protoss, and that's okay by me.
That's A-okay.
So for the main, I have a sneaking suspicion we'll want to go something like... man, this map is so compact. 12. I think it was definitely a mistake having so little rush distance between these players, but maybe it'll bear out as something that's actually okay. This one we can use to attack the... where was that anyway? That was like... so Scarlet... West... yeah, I just have no idea if it's going to work out the way that I want it to, I guess, but we'll see. So we'll see if I want a 2, 1 for 2. Yeah, unfortunately, Windows XP was like, it was okay for a long, long time. It was the standard for a long, long time, but going back to it now is such a fucking chore. I think Windows 7 works out okay. Windows 8, they tried to standardize shit to a tablet or something, and it was just a giant embarrassment. I don't know anything about 8.1. I stayed on 7 until 10 forced me off. That was my, that was my silliness. I don't remember how I even opened those. You can send them to me in an email or on Discord or something, and I can see if I know a way to unpack them again. I should be able to open them somehow. And I can turn them into 161 EXEs or something. Change all these coordinates because the shit got fucked by the map size change. Otherwise, they'll start preparing attacks in very silly locations. You can just throw them into a zip and send them to me that way, or a RAR or something. Good luck. Was there a particular reason you stopped working on Starcraft 2, Ike? Was it just that the engine was not suitable for the kind of gameplay you were going for? Or was there a deeper reason to it? Annihilated. Destruction of a man. Why wouldn't we make that this? That's over here. Hey, Roughhush, how are you? I definitely think Razorback's map was the worst. Yes. But, DK's was more of a slog, I suppose. Well, it was more of a challenging slog, is the problem. Like, Razorback's was a slog because the AI just had a lot of pre-play stuff, but they never attacked you and they never engaged you. DK's, the AI did attack you, you just didn't have any tools to fight back, really. Not in a remotely fair engagement. And not even in a sense where, like, okay, it's not fair, but at least I can use my skill. Like, you have to be skilled at a very particular part of the game, which is using Bio as Terran against Protoss, which naturally, utterly annihilates Bio, especially with Storm. You know, you get the picture. I guess he did reduce the energy cost of, or increase the energy cost of Psystorm so that High Templar could only cast Psystorm once, but that's never communicated to the player. So when I was making my decision to attack and then I got Psystormed, I was thinking, okay, well, I took so long to reinforce because I had so little money. I definitely didn't have enough time. Like, they had enough time to get their storms back. Well, it turns out by doing that, I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll just take more time so that I'm more prepared as opposed to just charging in there and dying to storms, which probably wouldn't have happened. So I actually fucked myself, but there's no way I could have known that. Like, I would have had to actually look in the map to find that information out, which is not what you want the player to have to do. So there was no real communication, I felt like. But certainly nothing that I would be able to divine something very specific that changes the meta that way. In the Mapperino VOD, Connor, you can actually find the download link, and you'll see it there. You might benefit from playing the remastered version, but I don't think anybody would benefit from launching remastered, since now it uses Chromium XD. So maybe you'll prefer the 1.16.1 approach. But to do that, you'll have to use my my EUD enabler, which may take some time. Well, I can send you the EXE I use. Alright, I'll take a look after the stream, thanks. Oh, really? They reverted Chromium? Nice guys. I can't believe they were made to use that, dude. That is so sick to me. fucking sick, bro. That kind of sick. You feel me? And how can Scarlet even get over here? I think he's just gonna have to go through the Court of Unnatural for that. That's fine. That's done. Where's the Ultra? Oh, I did the Ultra? Yeah, I did. Okay, their attacks are done. Let me just tweak their... What do we got here? Yeah, well, multiplayer is difficult for... That is a hard selling point, right? We already know that that's the case. The biggest issue now is just figuring out how best to circumvent it. Are you the Chris? Are you the guy who's been writing the reviews and the Zinkashan guy, or is that someone else? Who's been reviewing custom campaigns? Listen, I don't know, man. You also alleged that Annihilation was a good custom campaign. So it's hard to take any of that without a lot of salt. But admittedly, pretty much 90%, I would say 99% of custom content across all of Blizzard's titles is absolutely disposable. Would be a very nice way to put it. Especially like shit like flame knives and everything else. Yeah, Veek, that's intentional. You can just leave if you want to. It's still a toss-up as to which one is worse. It was never good. There's no aging required to make that thing a fucking terrible experience, man. That is a very unfortunate campaign. Unfortunate that it didn't get deleted. Guy didn't put any effort into actually making his new mechanics consistent or anything like that. Like, yeah, okay, he doesn't want to make macro, but at least make something that's intelligible. At least help me out here, man. Give me some assistance. Shit, no. After the disaster that was the anime campaign in Warcraft 3, I think I'm steering clear of Warcraft 3 custom content. Potentially forever, to be honest. Like, is there even anything good? Probably not. I think the last thing that's not going to be like Mental Omega or Brood War custom campaigns or the Protectors for Battlecry 3, the last thing I'm going to play out of either Warcraft 3 or Starcraft 2 is probably Annihilation. Just finish that, because I said I would. I didn't ever finish it. Like, that campaign's a disaster, and it will be interesting to see where it goes, how bad it becomes, and what the last version was. So I can give that a shot anyway, but the idea that I'm going to continue to subject myself to even more degeneracy than what Brood War alone is able to provide me with their absolutely degenerate campaigns, like Flame Knives and fucking the other stuff that I'm going to be playing, Wicked Reality, etc. All of Desler's stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Well, you will enjoy my playthrough if you think that Annihilation is passable. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll not be happy with it. I already did play it. I played most of it, and the whole thing is just a disaster. It makes you sit for 20,000-hour cutscenes most of the time in the later stages of the maps. Nothing is ever really designed to be handled with any class. Nothing is consistent. It tries to become like Metal Gear Solid towards the end and fails utterly. It doesn't have fucking voice acting. Why would you make me sit through like 10 years of cutscenes if you're not even going to have fucking voice acting, dude? Or music. Or anything. Oops. I have to, There's just nothing. See how these guys do. I'm not playing Transmio. Stop it. Stop asking. I already played all of your other degenerate shit, Don. I played fucking Hunt Down the Freeman, Duke Nukem Forever, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, all their expansion packs, going to play Black Mesa. I'm sucking dick enough. I don't need to suck Transmiev dick on top of it. Come on. Have some decency. Oh, look at that. They actually have a decent number of units. Right now they only have 7. Maybe they will add some more to the requests. Oh, did I still set this up? Or did we have the wrong one? Why did I not fix that? Must have slipped my mind. No, it is fixed. And they are adding more than 6 Marines, so the attack adds have changed. Although they aren't actually doing anything at the attack. Oh, yeah, I would hold your review for later. How many missions in are you? Some of them, like, there's a couple of missions towards the end that really maximize how fucking frustrating it all is. But you'll see. I can't spoil these for you. What a trip that one is. Alright, they are going with 5 Marines? The rest of them suck? Goodbye. What are they doing? Oh. I guess 2 fire bats have joined the party. Hi. Fuck him up. Get him! Goodbye. Curious George over here. He's building starports out the wazoo, though. Where's his next attack going to hit? Good question. Worker count's a little too low for my liking. He should be building way more. We'll just turn off sound so that I don't keep getting yelled at by the overmind. Why don't we do 84? See if that helps at all. I still don't know why this missile turret gets put here, though. How did you like the 9th mission where you're running around as a Mongoloid zealot or something, or a Templar? I don't remember. I wish I could skip some of those ones, most of those ones. Unfortunately, it does not seem likely. So, they're annihilating my Chrysalis. Where's their attacker? It says they started... Oh, I guess they canceled it or something? I don't know what happened. I don't know what the AI is doing. Besides floating money. Oh, okay. Yeah, they never get past that threshold of workers for some reason. Probably due to priorities. Alright, let's try to put our heads together. Figure out what's going wrong here. Well, I don't think that's necessarily the worst mission of the bunch, or even my least favorite mission. Like, in an objective or subjective sense. It is terrible, but it's not because of, well, let's just say it's not because of anything in particular. Yeah, they still build this fucking missile turret. Where do they get the idea to build that missile turret? At what point? Why don't they build it at a more sensible location? Holy fuck, they sneak it in. Oh, never mind. I'm a total Mongo, and the issue is actually in the map. Bing. Sometimes I bing, sometimes I bong. Bing, bing. Okay, let's try that one again. Playing macro all the time is boring because people do macro in dumb ways. People are bad at making macro maps. That's why it's boring. If you don't want to play an RTS, then don't play an RTS. Don't play an RPG, in quotes, that doesn't have any fucking custom mechanics. XD, by the way. That's an XD. Don't play an RPG with no new fucking mechanics, or barely any mechanics, that is just pointless. That does nothing. That offers nothing new. That brings nothing to the table. When you can just play an RPG if you want to play an RPG. Why do you need to play an emulated RPG or whatever the fuck? Why not just play an actual RPG if that's what you want to play? The argument that you need a change of pace just means either A, the macro missions you're playing in an RTS game are not engaging enough to actually be considered macro missions, to be good, even, as standalone content. Or B, you don't like playing RTS missions, or you're no longer in the mood for an RTS mission. Those are fine as well, but those don't supersede the utility of making macro missions. And they certainly don't mandate that you've got to throw your players into a carnival ride, a QTE quick fest. Quick fest. Quick end me fest. Nice SE. They certainly don't mean that. Like, I don't get the argument that it's boring. If you're bored by macro gameplay, then yeah, of course it will be. I really don't like it that it takes them this long to build up here. They certainly have enough money, right? Yeah, they've got plenty of money. They should, I guess I have to raise the priority on these requests over here for them to properly set up their ship. And even now, like, they're taking forever to... They have the second barracks request, but they're taking forever to actually put it up. You know what I mean? Very strange. Yeah. We failed to achieve victory, boys. We have failed to make the, stuff work. I thought Torn was dreadful. I don't know what you're talking about. I criticized it very, very heavily. Maybe you should actually watch my videos before you tell me what I like and what I don't. Torn was actually pretty terrible. Yeah, Torn was... It was either filled with gimmicks or it was just boring because the AI did nothing. There was never any real engagement in that campaign. And in my review, I explain in great, excruciating detail why I thought that. Yeah, mediocre. When it's not filling me with gimmicks, filling the map with gimmicks, yeah, absolutely. But that was a very small percentage of its running time. Try those priorities on for size. Maybe that'll help them out a little bit. I wonder if I call value area at this area of town, will they try to defend it a little bit heavier? Also try that. Anyway, this AI is pretty much good to go. I think I can move on to Sienna. See you later, Connor. Thanks for hanging. I guess UED Commander. The problem is that none of the maps really ever engaged you. Like, Torn is just filled with laziness. Like, it's mediocre in the same way that the Blizzard campaigns are mediocre. Although some of the Blizzard campaigns of Brood War are pretty terrible, but... Is Stratuspace the Japanese one? No, Stratuspace... I think Stratuspace is that Japanese map pack. Let's see. I probably put it in the not playing section. Yes, Stratuspace. Epic. Isn't this epic? Look at this. This is the last mission, by the way. Bye. No, I have a feeling all of Stratuspace's campaigns will trigger me. I don't know when if or when I will play them anyway, though. I know when I play Ascension of Duran, that's going to be a real triggering. His idea of engaging the player with AI is giving them like 20 upgrades. Oh, fuck. You, obviously. Well, I'm going to leave you guys to stew with each other for a moment. I got to pee, so be right back. Alright, what have we gotten up to while I was gone? Eternal Flame is pretty good. pretty good. I think I played one map of that or something. Where is the... Oh, I'm in the wrong area. I was like wondering how the hell could that have happened? Yeah, okay. Oh. It cannot be fit. Alright, we're gonna have to move the academy then.
Void.
You? I think what I'm going to also do is reduce the collision of the engineering bay, because I definitely think it's a little too big.
Void.
You're a void! Stop
Void.
voiding me!
Void.
Stop that! Hey, Head High. Which videos are you referring to? Somebody else mentioned that I might have had a copyright strike, but I don't see anything in my... When I go to my studio, it doesn't say that any of my videos are, like, protected or anything like that. People can still watch them. It seems like. Whenever YouTube loads. Void Race? The Void Race is pretty epic. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it just yet. But it's going to be run by Blizzard. And they're not going to have any idea what the hell they're doing. So they're just going to be trying to seem epic and edgy, but they actually are really dumb and they have no idea what's going on. So, exactly like normal Blizzard. Like what Blizzard is right now. And what, well, really what they've always been, to be honest. Alright, so hopefully that change will help. We can pop into this and close that. Help that there. I know it was 46 times 2. Just logging my change to the engineering bearing that. Are there going to be more than one set, Iquare? Since you said campaigns plural, I figure it's probably going to be more than one. Cool. I look forward to him. Iquare always put a fair bit of effort into his stuff, but I definitely think that his latest work is more exemplary of his talents, because he's a guy who knows what he's doing when it comes to a lot of stuff. So. I think he's ready to show us just how good he actually is at the art of making Starcraft maps. Yeah, it would be a bit more refreshing. Unfortunately, the biggest issue is, of course, a lack of quality custom assets. So, it's not really much of a surprise why it doesn't happen, but it doesn't make it any less of a shame. Your unmodded high potential must be pretty low. Man. In terms of number of campaigns, I mean. Unless you're grading them on a curve or something. Like giving them more points for doing stuff without mods. I don't really get the whole giving them a score thing. I just try to say whether or not I recommend it, because that's what makes sense to me. Why do you use a scoring system? And like, it feels kind of arbitrary the way that you arrive at the conclusions. Well, I mean, how do you program in your scoring in general? And no, this is the first Zerg, the very, very first Zerg mission. I hope we can fix AI going crazy when you request supply depots for them in their area towns. That's a really silly limitation. Right, but like, how do you quantify it as a number as opposed to it just being like a general observation? This is high quality because of these reasons. This is low quality because of these reasons. This makes the cut. This doesn't because of these reasons. Like, I find it difficult to go from assigning whether or not something meets a cut objectively or whether I like something subjectively to throwing a number at. How to quantify that down is what I'm getting at for the most part. don't know if I think photon cannons will reach that. They'll probably still get there. No, no, maybe not. Well, I understand putting a quantity on number of maps or what percentage of, like, rough percentage of what's voice acted and what isn't, or what's custom as far as the sound design or visuals or anything like that. I just mean from a perspective of trying to do quantification of quality. That's more what I'm confused about, I guess. I guess they can have a backup location up here. Well, to me, the default Starcraft setting isn't really that important to salvage, I don't think. Right, but again, how do you determine, like, how much of a numerical value or impact a certain thing has? You know what I mean? That's what I'm confused about more than anything. Stuff over in a second. Let's upgrade now. I have no idea what's happening outside. Construction time, baby. Oh yeah, max force, of course. That was the other thing. I think before I did check transports to try and get the AI to use transports. guess we can try to do that here. Whenever I request the starport for this player, I'll do the same thing. How many depots we got in the main? 11, 12, 13. What do you mean gameplay style score? If you're making it so that the campaigns that don't change the pace, yeah, that will be retarded, of course. But I don't think I think anybody can see that. You just look at it. Just look at it, man. Look with your eyes. See, I think the problem is most custom campaign designers, as well as players, have been conditioned to thinking that the RTS genre needs the designers of maps and campaigns to actually vary things from the perspective of actual genre of game that you're playing, from map to map or whatever. Or even section of one map to section of another map. Like having a micro opener or a micro closer or something. And to me, that seems really, really dumb. Like, most people have just bought that, and they haven't really addressed it further. They haven't thought about it more than that, presumably. But why can't you make a good campaign, an objectively good campaign, that sticks with its style, as you call it, or genre, and just tries to do that genre justice, that style of gameplay, they try to execute it. Like you're talking, you at least separate genre from how well that genre was executed in your grading, which is good, but why have a score for the genre at all? Why not just classify it as this is a macro campaign, this is a mixed campaign, this is a micro campaign, and then you go from there to talk about what the execution actually was. That to me would make more sense if you even wanted to consider or legitimize non-standard gameplay in the first place. I mean, it's a legitimate question. Like, obviously, I use very flavored language, and I make no bones about, whatever I'm claiming about. I don't beat around the bush, but I am genuinely interested in what your counter argument is, if you have one. Yeah, I'm not accusing you of being biased towards micro in some way. What I'm saying is you're in the bias that you're building into your score system favors campaigns that explicitly become inconsistent with themselves. You're favoring inconsistency and lack of cohesion by definition through your gameplay scoring or through your style scoring, right? Your genre, because you're favoring things that are not a consistent genre through and through with that particular category, obviously. So really, I'm not attacking your overall system. I don't really understand it in the first place necessarily well enough to attack it in that sense. I'm not trying to make it out to be like the whole thing should be thrown out. I just mean for this particular thing, having a classification system where you classify them is fine, but building that into your scoring mechanism, like when I sit down and I play a micro campaign or a campaign that has a large number of micro missions, I do, in my head, like my own subjective biases come into play, and I say, well, this is probably going to be miserable because all of my past experiences with micro campaigns have been miserable. But that doesn't mean it has to be like that. That doesn't mean that the micro-campaigns can't be done well in some theoretical universe. It just means I haven't found any that are like that. So until I find some that are like that, I have to basically just like let the project speak for itself when I play it, and the demonstration speak for itself, and then I can editorialize based on that. I can analyze that and provide my take. But most people will just look at the content and come to their own conclusions. They don't necessarily need me to voice why I don't like it or why I think it's bad, though I'm sure some people do appreciate that, depending on who you ask. But, I mean, that's basically the extent of where I bother to make a distinction, you know? Style points! You're a style.
Flesh is a design flaw.
You're a flesh. Hey, what's up, K2 Hacks? I read your comment. UD Commander did indeed replace some ramps. I'm sure he took great pleasure in making sure that there's a bunch of fucked up tiles in DK's submission. That's great. Don, I don't know what you're talking about, obviously. I don't have any context. But if somebody's engaging with you and you're telling them fuck off and they're still not fucking off, you might consider just removing them yourself, as opposed to bothering to continue reading whatever they're saying. That would be my advice. Oh, so like, execution based on like this is the premise of the mission. Does the mission actually deliver on that premise? Something like that. I guess that would be something. The main thing when I looked at your Google Doc, besides the color choices being very blinding, besides that, it was mostly looking at it and thinking like, there's a lot of categories here. I wonder how many of these could be trimmed out or combined or something like that, because a lot of the times, like when I'm tackling my stuff in my reviews, I'm usually trying to explain missions and premises and stuff, and as to how well they delivered on the developer's intent, as far as I can understand the developer's intent, and what I felt was missing, or what I felt could have been improved, or what I felt was good, or whatever. Whereas, like, you obviously went for a more numbers-based approach, it seems, and I guess more. You divvied the things up more to try to talk about them as they are apart, whereas I usually try to talk about how it all merges together and maybe pick apart a specific example of one category, like the polish, the voice acting, the whatever, that didn't do it for me, or maybe helped to elevate it in a more positive light. Looks like they just have 6 in the main.
Acknowledged.
He actually liked the layout, that's all. No, I'm not telling you to kill him, Don. Jesus Christ. I'm saying block him or something. Holy fuck, he took that the wrong way. Jesus. I'm just saying, if somebody's annoying you, just block them or mute them or something. Stop engaging them. I mean, obviously, if they're in your personal space, that's a little bit different. Fuck. Okay, so that's what the completion one was. I would maybe put some of these explanations into like a comment or something like that inside the score itself, so that people who are interested can like mouse over it and see whatever you left as explanation. Oh, there's actually an 8th barracks. Forgot about the pre-placement. I don't think they have anything else, so we'll leave it at that for now. Oh, wait. Alright, depots. Where do we want depots? First one's here, apparently. Yeah, DF. I mentioned the colors. Though I haven't really looked at it in a while, so I can't tell you whether or not there was a particular color that got me. It might have been the red. So I've done the externalized ones for bunkers. I gotta be careful about requesting medbays before the first couple of factories go down, so that the medbay doesn't block the factory. By the way, DF, we actually investigated what was wrong with the medbays. It seems like it's an editor issue. Creating a barracks at the medbay fixes the problem, but like through a trigger or create unit or something, but obviously that's not great. So we're gonna. I reached out to SI earlier today about it, and hopefully the fix won't be that difficult. I think Icor said he should be able to handle it regardless, but obviously it would be nice if we didn't have to worry about it. Right? So, just letting you know there was a bit of an update with that. Oh yeah, you missed that? It was a good bit. I have no comments. I will leave that one for others to witness. Though notably, so far, we haven't actually had any of the same issues that we were having with the AI just not building in the right locations. Hopefully we can continue to avoid such atrocities. Yeah, no kidding. It does reconnect when you lift land, but making a player have to do that or trying to program that into the AI seems silly. At worst, I can just use create unit, but obviously it would be nice if we didn't have to worry about that, right? That's all I'm saying. So eventually we will jump into... you know, trying to fix that on the editor level. I got about 30 more minutes before I gotta get out of here and do some yard work. Jesus Christ. Haven't you made me suffer enough?
Prepare to die!
It's a strange sounding KGB agent there you have there, UED.
And
gosh, what an annoying
and
Stop petting me. I can't handle it. Well, I don't think it's related to iScript. Like we talked about it, it didn't seem to do anything. Unless you're talking about making the iScript make it land or something for the barracks. You're gay, UED Commander. Don't ever insult my enemy. See you later, Chris. Thanks for hanging. See you around. Enjoy your vacation and your holiday if I don't see you before then. What I want to do here is I want to get the force value of the Goliath, I think. I don't know if its force value is actually stored here. Oh, no, it is. I don't really think I'll ever play any of the Might and Magic games. But thank you for the If you see an RTS title, maybe you can grab that for me. That's cheap. After Black Mesa and Deus Ex, I'm taking a break from non-RTS content. If it doesn't break me first! Alright, so what do we do for Well, like I just said, I'm taking a break after those two titles that I've got lined up from stuff that isn't an RTS. Just use that to inform your gifting decisions. I still can't believe he actually did just one-to-one grab the layout from XP7. You're about $2, you ED Commander. Well, I gotta get ready for my junk. I've got to do. We'll leave it at that for now. My next task will be to synchronize the guards between the two players. Of course, after I finish the build thread for Sienna. And after I finish the build thread for Sienna and updating their upgrades. Oh, I do need to give them upgrades for shamans and have them request those. And obviously give them nukes and all that other stuff. Yeah, for me, it's $10. UED. It's a $50 game. So you. And that's where we end our stream today. You. But I shall return. Have no fear. I am not really that clear, to be honest with you. Maybe that's just what I want. Hit me up on Grindr. never expanded that. Now it's expanded. Bye!